Hello, welcome to another App Marketing Conversations. I'm Ian Sefferman, CEO of Mobile Dev HQ, here with Roby Ganguly of Apptentive, Ryan Morell of Gamehouse. Welcome, guys. So today we're actually going to talk about something that's sort of hot off the press as we film this, and more broadly speaking, we'll get into that as well. But so Quixy, who is a very well-funded startup whose main focus is to make app search better, searching for apps better in the way that Google made searching for web pages better. And they just announced this new initiative that they're calling App URL. And App URL is essentially, for those of you who haven't read this, and I'm sort of taking this verbatim from TechCrunch, is essentially a way to make mobile apps have deep linked content. And a lot of people have done things around this. So Twitter has their new Twitter cards, which you can deep link into an app. Other apps, expose their own URL scheme. Quixy is trying to basically make that uniform for everybody. And really what's interesting about this to me is that they also have this appurl.json file, which you publish. And that appurl.json file is essentially, the way I'm thinking about it, is essentially a sitemap for an app. It tells you sort of all of the different URLs within your app, what those are, and then a machine can go through and crawl each one of those. And then AppURL makes it really easy for you to click on any URL. It'll basically take you to a page which will either open up the iPhone app, the iPad app, the Android app, whatever it's supposed to be, or tell you this is available on the web, so you can go look it on the web if you don't have them installed. So it's supposed to make deep linking into apps easy. And so I think it'd be interesting to hear your reactions on this concept, and then hear your reactions on sort of how this affects marketers in any way, if at all.
I'm not sure that I have a good answer to this. We talked about it earlier, and I'm still having a really hard time. I mean, I understand deep linking and with like really specific use cases, and the value there. I sort of understand why it's valuable to have a crawl of my app and its content for search purposes, but I'm not entirely sure I get what the real benefit is to that. Especially when, right now, if you do a search for an app, it's likely to come up on Google Play #1 and iTunes #2 in your searches. So I'm not entirely sure I get the benefit there. It's a terrible answer. That's what I.
That's good.
Well, I think that academically this sounds cool, right? Like this is the kind of thing I could see writing papers on and describing the methods and then the potential benefits, and then drawing all the links to the rest of the ecosystem and saying, wouldn't it be awesome if, right? And I think there's a ton of reason it makes sense theoretically. My question is, the two biggest players in the space have arguably some reasons for this not to be successful, right? And so if that's true, how are they going to get, let's just call it 500,000 apps out of the ecosystem of 2 million, 500,000 to adopt this such that there's actually enough information to make this really relevant. I don't think that this is useful when 1,000 apps have done it. I don't think it's useful when 10,000 apps have done it.
Yeah, so I'll take the pro side because I'm actually super bullish on this idea. I think you're right. That's the big concern from my perspective is like adoption. Luckily, I think that it sort of exists outside of the world of the platform owners. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they have too much control, but it's still an adoption question. However, I'm super pro the idea because I think as you continue to look at consumers' attention shift to mobile and shift to the app stores, you continue to see a widening array of search terms that are searched for. In much the same way that on the web in 1995, you would see people say, shopping, right? And now you see people search for brown leather shoes for men, right? Yeah. It's like much more drilled down specific. In the App Store, you can really only search for shopping right now because, or even if you search for brown leather shoes for men, nothing would show up because those apps actually can't get granular enough in their keywords and the description about everything that the content has on them. Whereas this allows the app publisher to say, look, I'm Amazon.com. Here's every one of my products, right? Now go find out what is, and each one of these products has a page, has a URL in my app. Go find out what the content is, and then index that. And now all of a sudden I can search for brown leather shoes for men, and it'll pop up, the shoe store at Amazon or like that particular shoe. So I'm really pro it from a consumer's perspective that their attention is shifting to mobile. They're going to the app store first, and they want to be able to search for things and find exactly what they're looking for. And this is a step in the right direction for that.
Well, when you say that, what's interesting is it strikes me that immediately retailers who have mobile apps make a bunch of sense for doing stuff around this, right? Like, I could see people with large catalogs saying, oh, I don't know if this is useful, but it's worth it given the abundance of information that we display in our mobile app to at least experiment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's exactly the same as Google releasing sitemaps back in the day, which was like, you have 1 million pages on your site, only 10,000 of them are linked to from anywhere. So we're not finding the other 990,000. Like, just tell us where they are, and we'll go get them.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how I think that this becomes useful for both consumers and publishers.
But are people really doing this on mobile, where you think they're treating app store search similarly to how they treat like web search?
I don't think so today, but I think as we've continued to go down the line of mobile being the first place to go, that continues to happen. And so like we've certainly gone from the era of, I think maybe the way that I would explain it today is we've gone from people just searching for shopping to people searching for men shopping.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've just started to get slightly more intricate in our searches, and that there's a long list of things that have to happen before we can get to brown leather shoes for men. But I think it'll happen. Got a puppy.
Darwin agrees with that idea, apparently. But isn't the opportunity here not for the App Store search in particular? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but the idea that you're on your phone and you say men's medium brown shoes with like laces or something like that, just for a regular search on your mobile device, and then the normal search results could be augmented by this stuff because this has been published out, or is it only in the App Store?
So that's what's cool is it could happen anywhere.
Yeah, because that's where I was seeing for a retailer, if you did that and you happen to have the Nordstrom app on your phone, then it would say, here's the result, open up the app and buy it. Right? That would be freaking cool.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this is that it handles both cases sort of seamlessly.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I'm sort of talking myself a little bit more into this, at least from the perspective that some categories of mobile publishers probably should be experimenting to see if they drive more people back into their app, right? People are struggling with retention. If you're already on there and then this surfaces you in results so that the person like takes a dormant app and uses it again, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and again, adoption is the key here, right? So they have to have a lot of apps which publish URLs, and they have to have a lot of search engines which feed these URLs. They've started with a decent number. Like it's like DuckDuckGo, who is doing well, posts privacy things. GoGoBot, I don't know, Hubble, Swerve. Blacko is an interesting one. Apparify, I've never heard of. UCWeb, I've never heard of. So it's like they're small for sure. They need both app publishers to do this, and they need search engines to do this.
Yep.
I sort of get it now.
All right, so I'm very pro this. You guys went from against to kind of okay.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I can see why you kind of get geeked out by it,
right.
And it's just hard for me to identify, especially from like a games perspective. Is this really interesting? Is the content in games consumable from a machine perspective? I don't really.
Right. Yeah, that part's hard.
And So I think the next question, though, obviously, let's pretend this is successful. How does that change game design, for example?
Yeah.
Do all of a sudden we start seeing a bunch of keyword-heavy text in games we didn't see before?
Or do you have the equivalent of what you have on the web now, which is like you have these apps that then have these blogs, and everybody goes in content markets based on keywords around that. Right?
Yeah, do we start doing like friends of this game?
Right.
Links out to other things. I mean,
Yeah.
this can go a lot of different ways. So, anyways.
Interesting stuff. All right. Be sure to watch the other segments from this week, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much.